What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Behind the Spotlight podcast. I'm your host, Danielle J. Martin, and we are in this week's newest episode. Welcome. If you're just now joining us for the first time, I'm super excited to have you here. And if you're returning, I'm even more ecstatic that you decided to trust me to come back and listen again, because this is going to be a hot one. It's going to be powerful. Every week is powerful. So in case you don't know, my mission here is to really inform you, transform your mind, and really support you in where you are in your journey to help you become the better version of yourself. Okay, so in a nutshell, right, I'm trying to educate you on resources that you have around you that you should be taking advantage of, and then also trying to challenge your mindset and where you are currently, and then support you where you are, because I want you to understand that I know, right? I understand that you are on this road, on this pathway, on this journey that we are all on together called life, right? And it's not easy. Your girl understands, okay? So we are really getting into something that may be even more challenging today, that's going to challenge your mindset, that's going to challenge your friendships and challenge the relationships that you may be currently in, and you may be questioning, is this the right relationship for me? Okay, so first, I want to ask you, when was the last time that you were your true, authentic self in public versus who you are as a public image? Now, to understand the difference, being your true, authentic self means that you are masking off. You are showing truly who you are authentically. Okay? And you are not thinking about anything. You're not thinking about anyone. You're not thinking hard about what to say, how to dress, what you should say, how you should wear your hair or your makeup. You are truly you. Now, your public image is a made-up individual. It's a made-up person. You have your makeup on, you're all dressed up, you are talking a certain way, you are being aware about certain things, and you're being a little more reserved, right? Because you want to portray and also, in a sense, perform on a certain level, because that is the version of you that many people know. Your friends, your family, your relationship, majority of the people that you are presenting to are people you are comfortable with. And sometimes your authentic self is maybe only shown behind closed doors. Maybe it's only shown to your husband, to your boyfriend, to your spouse, to your close-knit friends that know you or knew you when you were a younger child, right? So understanding the different versions of those, okay? So when was the last time that you were your true authentic self? Think about it. When was the last time that you literally pulled off the mask of being something that you are not? When was the last time that you revealed the real you? Okay, so you're like, dang, Danielle, like this is a hot topic. It is, because I want to share just where it came from. So I was with my girlfriends over the weekend in Kansas City. Shout out to my ladies, because, honey, we had a great time, okay? And we really were having this discussion with one another, and we said, you know, it's really nice to be able to be around a group of women where you feel like you can let your guard down, in a sense, where you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to think about, like, you know, what are they going to say if I say this? Or what are they going to say if I dress like this? Or what are they going to say if I do my hair like this or talk like this? It's like your whole guard is, in a sense, down because you are safe. You are comfortable, right? So asking them even too, we were talking about, it's so interesting how sometimes you can be around certain people, around certain individuals, where in a sense you feel tense or you feel like you have to have your guard up. And yes, it's necessary around certain people, around strangers, obviously. But I'm talking about a space where you can really truly be your authentic self at all times, to where you don't have to question it. You don't have to question who you are. So that's what we're really talking about today. And Also, making sure you are understanding if you are currently around a group of friends, individuals who are so-called your circle, and you are in a sense displaying your public image at all times, and you're performing on that level, you're not being your true authentic self, right? So, key thing, what keeps us in certain friendships or relationships is the history of them. It's the long-lasting remembrance in our memories of all the things we've been through. And just because we've known each other since we were in 5th grade, we have to be friends. Or just knowing each other since we were in, grade school or whatever. It's like the space where we feel like we have to hold on to that person. But if that person is keeping you stagnant, or keeping you in a space where you are still performing, or you are still feeling as if you can't be your full authentic self, because you get to a space, you guys, where you grow. Okay? You grow, your mindset changes, the things that you want in life change, all of your stuff that you are wanting to have in life changes. Okay? So if you're around certain individuals that still bring out this space where you have to perform all the time, you may want to reconsider the circle you're in. You should be around powerful people that pour into you, okay? So before I get ahead of myself, I want you to write down number 1. If you can't be your full authentic self, reevaluate your circle. Reevaluate who is around you, and if you are doing more of the pouring to where you're being left empty, and are you not even receiving any pouring at all, right? So it's kind of a relationship goes both ways. It's true what they say. You should be around people that when they know that okay, my girl is half glass full. My girl is literally 1/4 in the cup. You should have people around you that know when you're empty and when it's time for you to pour in, okay? And you should really have people that you can be around where sometimes you don't have to dress up. You don't have to put on makeup. You don't have to put on, your full self all the time that you have to display at work all day, every day. That in itself is a lot of energy, okay? So number 2, is your circle filling you or is it draining you? Okay, key thing here. Are you getting full? Are you getting filled up or are you getting drained? Okay, you have to understand the difference, because if you are getting drained, honey, it's time to reevaluate. It's time to really look around and say, okay, are these people really for me? And vice versa. Am I being valuable to the friends and to the people that I'm around? Am I doing my job here? Okay. So asking yourself that. And honestly, you guys, I've gotten to the space. As I grow, I've gotten even more to a space where if this environment, if this place, if this circle does not pour into me intentionally, if it does not give me peace, I don't want anything to do with it. And that's nothing. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just because you are in a very sensitive space in time in your life where you are reaching for more. You're wanting more. You're wanting to be filled with different things. And that is a part of the season. And so I hope that you can have people around you that can understand that. And I pray that people around me can understand that your girl is just in a tunnel vision space where I am literally searching and reaching for things that sometimes seem impossible. And so I have to guard myself. I have to really structure my day and my week intentionally, making sure it's in alignment with God first, and then 2, is it on the same pathway into where He wants me to go? And with that comes sacrifice. And with that comes reevaluating the people around you. And it's not easy, okay? So going back to, if it does not bring you peace, move. And don't be afraid. That's point number 3, okay? do not be afraid to move. Do not be afraid to just take a step back. And it's not in a sense to say like we have to stop being friends, we have to end this relationship, or whatever the case may be. My thing is your spirit already knows. Your spirit already knows if you should stay in that place, stay in that friendship, stay in that relationship. Your friendship knows. But if you need more time to be still, if you need more time to just reevaluate, what are the things that I want around me? Is it pouring into me or is it draining me? Like really ask yourself that. And if you don't know, just take a step back. Don't react out of temporary emotions. Okay. So like, don't be in that space where you're like, okay, I got to react right now. Like just take some time. Okay. So story time for you guys is the reason why I want you to, in a sense, mask off. So in case you are joining my podcast for the first time, in case you don't know, your girl is transparent. Okay. So I'm never going to tell you something that I haven't done or gone through or experienced or whatever. And if I haven't, then I would just, bring an expert on the show and have you listen to them. But for me and myself and I, there was a time where I would literally mask on. And my girl, Ray, in Houston, Texas, knows what I'm talking about. Okay, we just had this conversation literally today. We were in a space as a child where we had to perform all the time. And it just came in natural nature with us. It was like ingrained, right? Where from birth, I went to an environment where I was training as a gymnast. I was then training as a cheerleader. I was then training as a performer because as a cheerleader, I was then in a space where we would do competitive cheer, right? And so in case you don't know anything about competitive cheer, but you were constantly working on your facials, you're working on your technique. There's a lot of like mental technique and capacities that go into it. It takes up a lot of energy and things that people just don't even realize. And so over time, not even understanding or thinking about it, in a sense, it followed me, right? So then I start to perform for like my family and I start to feel like I had to have it all together, right? In a sense to where I'm the youngest of 6 and I have to have it all together, like all the time. It was just something that in a sense was ingrained to me. Why? It just came because in a sense, if you look at my family history, there was spaces, and sometimes still are, where Danielle has it all together, or Danielle is, privileged in a way, in a different way. So with that comes making sure that the resume aligns, right? With that, the pressure of being something, of being someone, and staying on this pathway for your family was a requirement to me. And it was only something I told myself. So I'm hoping I'm making sense to someone that may feel like, I'm the performer of my family. I'm the, the person that's trying to keep it all together all the time for my family. And I'm here to tell you that will follow you in every aspect of your life. In every area that you're in, start to really evaluate. Am I performing here? Do I feel like I have to have a sense of control? Or do I feel like I have to have a sense of, performance when I'm in these rooms, in these meetings? Like I have to have it all together. Like start to really ask yourself that. And I did, okay? To a space where recently as in maybe last year, because now I feel like I'm in a new journey on a new space, where I'm on the pathway of, personal development. But there was a time where, and my girlfriend Demetrius actually talks about this on the Overcoming series. So go ahead and check out her episode as well. But she mentions, and I was in that space too, where you get into certain rooms and you feel like you have to lower your chair. You feel like you have to, in a sense, take a step back and really be on the same level as everyone around you because you don't see people that look like you around you, right? And so in a sense, you walk into a space where you haven't been and like your mask goes on, right? Immediately it goes on. And you're like, okay, I've never been here before. I haven't, performed on this level. So in a sense, I'm being challenged. And so now I have to really evaluate, is this the person that I want to be as I continue to move forward, right? And so, but I know the power that I have within me. I know what I'm capable of. I know that when I'm in certain spaces and certain places, I know what I can carry. But why is it that we feel like we have to take a step back to make other people feel comfortable? Right? And I'm not saying you have to be out here cocky. I'm not saying you should be maneuvering in places and rooms where you should just be so bold that you're not humble. Those are like two different things, okay? But being in a space where you are so real and authentic that you are aware that I don't have to lower my chair for anyone. I don't have to take a step back for anyone. I should be able to walk into a space where, okay, I evaluate the room, I know who's in it, and how can I make sure that everyone knows that like, hey, I'm authentically me, I'm good at this craft, and if you're not, it's okay, we can learn together, right? We can understand each other. Seek understanding before trying to be understood. The thing is, I think we maneuver in life trying to be understood first, but if you don't understand, how can you be understood? Okay. So in a sense, being aware of being your full authentic self. Okay. Being aware of if you are around circles and people where you are lowering your chair, where you are feeling like your shoulders are down, you're feeling like your stomach is aching, you're feeling nausea, like you're feeling all of these things, because I promise you, you've been in spaces and places where people make you feel a little achy because something is off. Either you're like afraid to be that full self, maybe you're unaware, maybe you're insecure, whatever it is, discover the inner you so you can be your real authentic self on a daily basis. Daily. Okay? So with that, I want to go back to the point of don't be afraid to move. Don't be afraid to move on that spirit, on that inside inner feeling that we all get when it's like, I call it the Holy Spirit. When something is talking to you, when the Holy Spirit is talking to you, telling you when to move, how to move, like that's when you move. And if you are in a space or in an environment where you're like, okay, I'm hanging out with friends, like say it's a late night and, it's 11, 12 o'clock at night and you're around certain people and you see like, okay, it's 1 o'clock coming around. 1 o'clock is coming around in the morning. And a part of you wants to stay, your flesh wants to stay so you can be a part of these circles. So you can feel as if like, I'm a part of this group. I want them to know that I'm here. But your spirit is telling you to go home. Listen to that spirit. Don't feel like you have to be in a space or in a place to please people. Honey, I'm telling you, you will lose every time. Like, do what you need to do for you. Save you. Okay? And I'm telling you guys this because I used to be there. I used to like hang out till late night, even when a part of me was like, I'm so tired. I know I can go home. Go home. Like, don't feel like you need to stay out all night and do all these different things with all these different people. If it's time for you to go, go. Okay? And that's in everything. Conversations that you're having on the phone. If you're like, okay, I could be doing something so much better with my time, but I'm finding myself talking to the same people on the phone, wasting time. Honey, time is of essence. Okay? I'm just saying. So with that, I want to leave you with Romans 12:2. To do not be conformed by this world, but to be transformed by what? The renewing of your mind. Okay? So it's easier said than done. We are living in the most highest intense technology of the world. of the time. It is like scary, okay? It is so scary to not feel like you like have to catch up in a sense. You have to make sure you get all the information to not feel left out. When I say like lead by your spirit and not your flesh, listen to that spirit because it will navigate you to where you are supposed to be. It will talk to you. I had to get reminded that my spirit talks to me, like literally. And it may sound crazy for those who may not be believers, and it's okay. But I truly believe that I'm always led by the Spirit. There are times where my decisions are led by my flesh because I'm listening to the things that sometimes my flesh wants to do. And those are the things that lead me to destruction. Your spirit will lead you to happiness and to peace, while your flesh will lead you to destruction. And you have to be aware of that. So if you're not realizing that, okay, where I'm at now is based on my decisions, then you need to really reevaluate some things. But understand that you don't have to do it alone. And so I'm praying and hoping that you have a supportive group around you and you have a supportive people, because when it comes to changing the mindset and changing the decisions that you made before, sometimes it may feel like, well, can I change at all? Like, is this going to even work? Because I've done so much damage. No, I'm telling you, honey, it will. But you got to start somewhere. And you can start by what you speak and how you speak. So I heard something earlier today that I was like, ooh, that's good. And I want to share with you guys. I was listening to a sermon by Mike Todd, and he literally said that whatever you speak, you eat. And so if you speak fear, you eat fear. If you speak faith, you eat faith. And so I was like, oh, going back to Proverbs 18:21, that life and death is in the power of the tongue and what you speak and what you say to yourself. And what you say to yourself matters. So you have to be careful and how you present yourself to the world, how you are portraying yourself authentically. Are you doing things based on your surroundings of people? Or are you really living in your authentic self? And so I want you to really think about that. And what are you saying to yourself? Are you masking on something that is, in a sense, the opinions of people? Are you masking on the opinions of people who told you who you are versus masking off all of those things and being your true authentic self, whatever it is, and only you know that. And so I hope you can really sit with this, and I hope that you could really take some time to dig deep and say, like, who is me? What are the things I like? How do I want to portray myself? And how do I make sure that I can portray this level of me, this version of me, in all the things that I do? Okay? So that is the episode of the week, you guys. I truly appreciate you guys tuning in today. Thank you guys so much. If you are listening into the audio version, thank you so much for tuning in. How about you rate, review, and just let me know your favorite parts of the episode. And if you're watching the video version, thank you for tuning in. And I will see you guys next week.